Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So I had a question recently that their succulent is stretching despite of giving a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. Now I knew that it is not possible when you tend to give a good amount of light, especially direct morning sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. And if the succulent has been there for quite some time, let's say for 5 months or 6 months, it is unlikely that the succulent is going to stretch. And they had the succulent in that position for almost a year. So it was very unlikely for the succulent to stretch with that good intensity of light. So I asked them for a picture and then I realized that it is a sedum and it was trailing out of the pot. So they were a little bit confused with stretching and trailing. So I thought I will make a video on it. Now guys, remember, apart from Echuarias, most of the succulents like Graptovarias, Graptosedums, Graptopetalums, Sedivarias, Sedums, all of these succulents are or have a tendency of trailing out of the pot. Now over here I have a bunch of Graptosedum California Sunset. This one is the Paraguins, which is also called as the ghost plant, and this one is my Graptosedum ghosty. This one I am not very sure, but it is a variety of Graptopetalum. I will have to check the name. I'm not very sure. Probably in some other video I will try to find the name and give it to you. So as I said, these are the succulents that tend to trail downwards. Now there are two ways that they are going to trail. Either they are going to be very compact, like how we have our burrow's tail over here. We all know that burrow's tail tend to trail downwards. Now you can see there is no space in between the leaves. It's very compact, slightly dehydrated. I have to water it today, but this is how they tend to trail. So this is a form of trailing wherein you won't find any space in between the leaves and the plant will start to trail. This is how the anatomy of the succulent is, and it tends to grow like that. Whereas on the other hand, some of the succulents will start to have a long stem like this. As you can see over here, it will have a long stem, and this is very common with Graptosedum California Sunset. A lot of times when they start to trail long enough, they will drop, or they might happen to they will drop the leaves. Now either that can happen by you when you're watering it, because the leaves become very delicate and they can easily get separated from the stem, or in general as well. Let's say if there is a bird or something that comes and sits on the succulent, they can easily drop off the leaves. But it doesn't mean that the succulent is getting stretched. Succulents will only stretch when there is not much intensity in the light. Over here, as you can see, my Graptosedum ghosty, you can see it is about to trail, but you do not see any stem, visible stem. Whereas on this one, there is a little bit of evident stem. The reason is because when the succulent had come in, it had dropped a lot of leaves. This is another issue with sedums or with a lot of these succulents when they are packed. Even though if they are packed very well, there is a high chance that few of the leaves will break. And that's exactly what happened with this California Sunset. A lot of the leaves were broken in transit, but luckily it's doing quite well. You can see the crown area is perfect. It is doing quite well. Eventually, maybe after a year or 2 years, it will start to trail out of the pot, just like how this Graptosedum ghosty is trailing, because all of these varieties have the tendency to trail out of the pot as and when they start to grow. Now it depends whether they are going to have a full set of leaves like this, or at times they might drop few of the leaves. That is absolutely normal. So this is not related with stretching. So even the ghost plants, they also tend to trail. A lot of times they will have a very long stem and only a few leaves on the crown area. That is how they generally tend to grow. A lot of times because of strong winds, or if someone tends to brush against them, the leaves can easily fall off. This is one of the drawback of sedums. You might have also seen of sedum donkey tail or the burrow's tail. The leaves easily tend to fall off because they are very plump. They have a good amount of water in the leaves and they can easily break off if they are accidentally touched, or probably if they are brushed with other plants, they can easily fall off. So that is pretty common. There is nothing much we can do about it. If you feel that the leaves tend to fall quite often, it's better not to touch it, or keep it in a place where it doesn't come in contact with anyone, or maybe your pet as well, because a lot of times the pets tend to run around and they can kind of brush against the leaves and the leaves can easily fall off. So I hope that this video has answered the question. So don't be worried. A lot of these these succulents have the tendency to trail, and it tends to give an appearance that the succulent is stretching, but actually it is not stretching. That is how they tend to grow even in nature as well. Most of these succulents are hybrids, but still they have the same tendency what the parents have, what the parentage carries, that is being trailing out of the pot as and when they start to mature. This is Sedum California Sunset. We have the same thing with our Sedum Adolphi as well. If you have a Sedum Adolphi that is very old or that is very mature, you'll start noticing that it starts to trail or it starts to fall out of the pot, which is pretty normal. So that was all about it. I hope that this has answered your question, and please don't be worried. If you are offering a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, it has a good amount of intensity, your succulent will not stretch. So guys, that was all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.